$100,000 mark with a victory. There's Marshall Holman, the PBA's all-time money winner. He's qualified in the number 2 position. And Charlie Tapp defeated Aulby, Genalo, Palumb, and Holman in match play. With one win, he can get the $27,000 first prize. To the Tropicana Lanes in Richmond Heights, Missouri. Lovely community just outside of St. Louis, and we're happy to have you with us. Jay Randolph along with Hall of Famer Earl Anthony. Earl, this is a fabulous fivesome we've got. This is one of the best groups of players that I can ever remember as having together on the fall tour.
Well, it couldn't be in a better place either, Jay. Here in St. Louis, one of the great bowling towns in the country. And as you mentioned, this could be the strongest 5 players we've ever had on the fall tour. We expect some good scores today.
We had 300 games this week, and good scoring should come about, although you never know when we turn these TV lights on.
You never know. That changes a lot of things. The oil moves around a little bit, but the players, these are very experienced players. They should adjust well to the conditions. And as I mentioned, I think we're going to get some good scores.
All right, let's go to match 1. Mike Aulby and Don Genalo in this first match. Aulby, a new daddy, coming back after his lovely wife Tammy delivered Christopher J a couple of weeks ago. Genalo to start it off. Don at 6'1", 150 pounds from Perrysburg, Ohio. Won't go down the 8-pin standing as we open on lane 43.
The lane surface this week, Jay, is a synthetic surface. It's called Permalane. It was installed back in May of 1977, and it's seen better days. The surface itself is kind of bumpy and rough. There are 6 panels in the lane from the foul line down through
the Tropicana Lanes refurbished under the guidance of Hall of Famer Ray Bluth, Vern Santons, and Tino DeFranco. And the folks here have done a wonderful job of putting this old house back in shape. Here's Aulby. 7-pin.
See a lot of corner pins here, Jay. This particular bowling center, as I mentioned, it has the permalane finish. It also has a phenolic Pindex, which is a synthetic pin deck. And that creates a little ridge in front of the head pin. And when the ball hits that ridge, it's actually airborne, and that's why you'll see corner pins. You'll see some pocket splits like the 8-10, 5-7, things like that. But you'll also see some tremendous scores on the lighter hits when the pins start flying.
Mike Aulby, who said his timing has been very good, out of Indianapolis, Indiana. He was on fire here Thursday night, won 7 of his 8 matches. His only loss was to Pete Weber, but then he cooled off.
Came back Friday night and only won 2 out of the 8 matches, dropped from the lead to 5th place, barely hung on to make the telecast.
Well, an 8-pin.
Mike is playing what you very seldom see a left-hander play as far as angle is concerned. He's deep inside, almost the center of the lane, arcing the ball out to about the 15 board. The thing here on the lane surface is for both the left-hander or the right-hander, if you get the ball outside the second arrow near the channel, it's out of bounds. The ball will skid, and you might get 3 pins out of a full rack, something like that. Here's a replay of Mike shooting the spare. You can see the angle that he threw the ball at the spare. It's almost the same angle he's throwing a strike ball, only a little more directly at the head pin to get the finish on the back end. We have a real contrast in styles today, Jay. The different players. Don Genalo, very straight, end over end roll.
There's the first strike of the match. Earlier this year at Grand Prairie, Texas, Don finished third in that tournament down there.
And here's a good shot of Don Genalo. Watch the release well out over the foul line. You can see the rotation of the ball. As it enters the pin area, it picks up the roll. It's end over end. That means it's going straight back toward the pit area rather than sideways, as you'll see, like a Palumbi's ball or a Mike Aulby's ball turning very abruptly to the side.
8 years on tour for Genalo. And the double.
That's the hit that they'll carry well, Jay, that light hit. The solid hit tends to leave the corner pin. The light hit carries very well. Watch the pin action as the ball enters the pocket area. It goes between the 1 and the 3 pin. Watch the 5 pin just get out. The head pin comes off the wall and helps the pin action carry the 4-7.
Don with an early 11-pin lead. Tough luck as the 10-pin is standing for Mike, and he's having a rough time getting going. He led this tournament after 26 games, had a high game of 269. On the TV pair, lanes 43 and 44, he averaged 269. 269.
That's a high game for some people for their career, Jay, and he averaged that on this pair. That's tremendous bowling. Cross lane at the spare, very straight and direct. Spare shooting hasn't been a problem this week. Most of the players have, as I mentioned, they've left a lot of corner pins, the 7 or the 10, but they've not had any problem picking them up. Because of the oil on the outside of the lane, the ball will slide into the spares.
Aulby down by 12. This is Mike's 7th championship round appearance this year. Last telecast he appeared on was back in June, and he teamed with his brother-in-law, Big Steve Cook, to win the Showboat Doubles Classic. They won it now 3 times.
Got a good break there, Jay, leaving only the 3 and the 6 pin. Had the 5 with it for a minute, which is a much tougher spare. This will be a pretty easy spare for Mike. He'll go cross lane and use good ball speed so the ball doesn't hook away.
Picks up the spare, the former U.S. Open champion. Of course, he is having some time.
This is the PBA Fall Tour, and today it's being brought to you by Budweiser. Beechwood Age for that clean, crisp taste. This Bud's for you. By your Toyota dealers and their quality line of cars and trucks. Toyota, I love what you do for me. By Kellogg's Squares, shredded wheat nutrition with taste, free in every bite. And by Domino's Pizza, hot, fresh, delicious pan pizza. Domino's Pan Pizza. Nobody delivers better.
Uh-oh. I bet I get you there. What you do for me? Oh, you in trouble now. Watch this. Nice shot. Thanks. But we do have an unfair advantage over these gentlemen. Why? We've got 150 horses.
Attention, shredded wheat eaters. You've been missing something. Taste. But no more. Kellogg's Squares brings you that superlative shredded wheat nutrition with no salt, no fat, no cholesterol. But wait, Kellogg's Squares give you free in every bite. Taste. Sweet, delectable fruit in the middle. You might never eat plain old shredded wheat again. Kellogg's Squares. Shredded wheat with taste. Free in every bite. And speaking of taste, now Squares have 35% more raisin. Great taste. Free. Brought to you by the King of Beers.
Mike Aulby getting set to bowl in the 6th frame. He got a strike in the 5th, his first of the match. He is down 22 to Don Genalo here in this opening match of this $150,000 Toyota Classic with Earl Anthony J. Randolph at the Tropicana Lanes in Richmond Heights, Missouri. 4-7.
Mike got a good break there, Jay. He came out with a very simple spare for Mike. Could have been real disaster there. The match is still anybody's match, even though he's down by 22 plus pins. It's still anybody's match, and an open at this point would have just about done it for him.
282,000 plus this year, and here are the career earnings all time. He ranks number 4, right behind you at the moment.
He'll go by me in a hurry, Jay, the way he's going. That's something that hasn't happened. Again, things tend to change a little bit when the bowlers are on television. The lanes change a little quicker. The heat from the lights makes the oil move around. Here's a real good shot of Mike cross lane at the spare. He played the spare the way he thought was perfectly. Normally the ball would have skidded back and fell back into the 4-7. It didn't do it.
Genalo in the driver's seat leaves a 7-pin here in the 6th frame. I'll be a little disgusted with his play.
Don Genalo is, I would say that if you were to ask or take a survey or something of all the players out here, who can be as tough as anybody out here in the 9th and 10th, and this is the guy. You want to have him out of the match before you get to the 10th frame. If you give him a chance, look out.
Well, he's taking advantage of this situation. He has a lead of 33 pins. We'll be back with more coverage of this Toyota Classic right after these messages.
If you have a house as messy as this, and a son as helpful as this, get a shop vac. Look at the power this baby's got. A shop vac wet dry picks up everything from nails and wood chips to broken glass to gallons of water.
Thanks for the car, Dad.
Yep, there's no telling when you'll need the power of a shop vac.
Now Shop Vac introduces Spot Check for tough carpet stains. Spot Check turns any shop vac into a powerful carpet cleaner.
Got a cold? Gotta feel better fast. Then you've got to get Alka-Seltzer Plus cold medicine. People who use it will tell you.
It works.
It's fast.
It works fast.
Alka-Seltzer Plus, the fizz works fast.
Over the years, bowling ball manufacturers have promised that their balls will do all kinds of tricks to improve your score. But at AMF, we know nothing helps like power. That's why our new Cobra has a computer-designed strike coil weight block and 71% more urethane. So get a Cobra for striking power you can rely on, instead of tricks you can't.
Bob Ehrman of Toyota, the sponsor of this tournament, as the PBA has come back here after a 3-year absence. Boy, oh boy, the 7 again. Same thing had happened to him back in the first frame.
Right, Mike is down to crunch time now. He has to make this spare, obviously, and then he's got 3 frames, and he has to have strikes in all of them. As you see, Mike, this is a replay of Mike's ball. Watch the deflection. That's from the deep inside angle and the phenolic pindex. The ball isn't gripping the lane when it gets into the pin area, and you see the weak or flat 7, as the players call it.
Mike from Indianapolis, a buddy of David Letterman's, and he rolled on the Letterman show and knocked over all kinds of junk, and I hear they're going to do that again, so they must have had a lot of fun with it.
No, Mike can knock just about anything down that bowling ball. Some guys say he can knock down telephone poles the way he gets it to hit, but today, playing again that inside angle, that extremely deep angle around the fourth arrow, creates a lot of deflection, and it's hard to carry the corner for Mike, the 7-pin.
And another 7. Mike won the Masters at Wichita earlier this year. I reminded Earl that you won an ABC Masters or two, of course, and in the late 70s here in St. Louis, you and our friend Frank Ellenberg, who was working in the truck today, had a match that was written about this week. Here's the best single season money marks. Aulby, Boss. Aulby in 85. Frank Ellenberg defeated you one evening here in the Masters.
Yeah, I was undefeated. At that time, you bowled, it's a double elimination match type thing, 4 games total pins, and he beat me back-to-back. I never forgiven him for that either, Jay. Don Genalo in the 8th frame on a strike really could put the match away with another.
Yes, sir. He had the 3 in a row, 2, 3, and 4, and now has struck in the 7th and 8th.
Look at the fundamental, the good balance, the good loft of the ball. That's the way you should rotate the ball when it comes off your hand. Here's a guy with, look at the great reaction, Jay. He knows that clinches the match. But here's a guy with one of the longest spans. By that I mean the distance from his fingers to his thumb, the way they're drilled in the holes in the ball. It's almost 6 inches. That's a long span. Mm-hmm. Average span would be somewhere around 4 3/4.
Came up a little short, and he's left the 4-pin here in the 9th.
Don Genalo going at a 220-plus pace. Mike Aulby, the most he can bowl with strikes in the 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th would be 203. So Don Genalo just fills. Spare, he's a winner. Mike was one of only 3 left-handers in the top 24 this week, Jay, and it seems like when Mike does make the match play, the top 24, you can almost expect him to be in the top 5, the championship round. He's just a real competitor. He doesn't give anything away very often. You've got to go get him. There it is again. It's solid 7 this time. It's not the weak one. He left earlier 2 of those flat 7s. This particular one was the ball. He threw it very well. The ringing 7.
Of course, we've mentioned that he'll have a chance to go over the $300,000 mark with a win today. He's not going to win here today, but we still have enough action left on this fall tour that he can do that.
Oh, definitely. We've got some big tournaments coming up. The World Open, of course, and the Players' Championship. Back to Milwaukee again, Jay. I'm looking forward to it.
Oh, I am too. Well, it's all over as Genalo is going to move on. And in the second match, he's going to take on Ron Palombi Jr. Don Genalo coming away with the victory in this first match, and $5,000 for Aulby tacked on to that big prize money number of his.
It's a small check for Mike.
Aulby just finishing matters out. What else is new?
Yeah, that looks familiar, and just wasn't Mike's day. He played the lanes pretty well. He kept the ball in play in the pocket area, just a lot of 7-pins. That's his 5th one of the game.
5 7-pins.
The difference is just the carry power. Don Genalo's ball was coming in at the right angle to strike. Mike's wasn't.
They call him Bigfoot, Don Genalo.
I mentioned his span on his bowling ball, how wide it is. He has very long hands and very long feet.
And you mentioned how tough he is in the late going. He's a fellow that controls his emotions very well, though, inside.
He does. He's a real fine pressure player. And as I mentioned, if you don't have him out of the match going in the 9th and 10th, you could be in a lot of trouble.
Holbe with a score of 180. Disappointing opener for Mike Aulby. And another strike for Genalo.
This is an opportunity, knowing that he has the match well in hand when he got up in the 10th frame. This is an opportunity for Don Genalo to try a couple of different things. Maybe a different ball speed, a different rotation, just to see if he can carry the corners better, because the players coming up don't get any easier, Jay, as you know.
And with this win, Genalo will be 20-16 on television. We'll have more in just a moment.
We cannot overcome their superior forces. Only a miracle can save us now.
My son!
He's a mean ninja machine. After Spuds clears the air of ninja warfare, he's rewarded with Bud Light. Everything else is just a light.
Introducing the Freedom Zoom 90 from Minolta. When you can't get to the picture, its 90mm lens brings the picture to you. It's the only compact zoom with 5-beam autofocus, so even subjects that aren't centered come to you in perfect focus. The easy-to-use Zoom 90, newest of the Freedom cameras.
Only from the mind of Minolta.
Those chicken noodle sandwiches are ecstasy. Kentucky nugget soup me to a T. And don't forget that original recipe chicken.
Cross the road, Jack. Kentucky Fried Chicken's got more.
Cross the road, Jack.
Kentucky Fried Chicken's got more.
Xerox presents the Great American Torture Test. We challenge the bone-numbing cold of northern Alaska and pass with flying colors. Xerox. Because extreme conditions demand extreme protection.
Don Genalo romping to victory here in this first match. 8 strikes, Aulby only 1 strike, and had the open 236 to 180 Genalo. And the bowling shootout with Mark Roth, Marshall Holman, and Lisa Wagner. And, you know, it's not often, Earl, we get a chance to shoot for the stars, but some lucky bowler will get that chance. The bowling shootout returning to NBC Sports World this December, and an exciting new twist with Roth and Holman and Wagner. They're going to be joined by a non-professional or survivor of a nationwide competition to challenge for $100,000 in prize money. That's coming up in early December. And tomorrow, we kick it off with NFL Live at 12:30. Denver at Kansas City, Indianapolis at Buffalo, Miami at the Jets, and then the late game, Cleveland at Seattle. Check your local listings for the NFL action tomorrow. And Don Genalo and Ron Palombi Jr. in this second match.
All right, now this young man, and he is young, he's the youngest player on the telecast today, Jay. Watch the power in this release. Watch the wrist roll up the side of the ball. He'll play deeper than Don Genalo. In other words, more toward the center of the lane. Tremendous strike ball.
And he has that ball flying down there, but left the 10-pin. Ron is 6'3", 190 pounds, a very powerful young man, a great high school athlete in his hometown of Erie, Pennsylvania. His 4th championship round appearance of '89. Columbia high game of 280 this week.
And what a good time to do it, Jay. He did it in the last game of match play, the 24th game of match play, to get into the top 5 and tied this man, Don Genalo. They had a roll-off for 3rd and 4th, and Palumbi won that roll-off.
Looked a little high, but he got the action.
That's what happens with the different styles, the different rolls the players put on the ball. Don Genalo's ball rolling end over end. Here's a replay of that shot. Now watch the rotation of the ball. Now watch it turn over and go into a forward roll. And this is why he carries the 4-pin, where a player that rolls the ball like Ron Palombi, the ball will cut through with that hard side rotation and leave the 4, or maybe the 4-9.
6 out of 7 strikes over here on lane 43 so far, and he continues on his merry way over there.
Well, we've had some great scores, Jay. 3 300s this week. It would be nice to see one on television, wouldn't it? And these guys are capable of it. There isn't one of the 4 players that are left, even Mike Aulby, of course, and I don't want to leave him out. They could have all bowled 300. The way they're bowling this week, we could see that.
Palumbi was just 21 when he came on tour. Oh, boy. That looks really good.
There's the power I'm talking about. The rotation of the ball going into the pin deck. That's what sends that 5-pin to the wall. Watch the balance. Watch how far out over the foul line he releases the ball. He's not throwing it there. He's carrying it out there with his fingers. Now watch the 5-pin. Boom, there it goes. That's what people call ripping the rack, Jay.
This week, a 221.5 for Palumbi. Oh, look at that action. They're all even in the early going. Next Saturday, I mentioned the World Open. They'll be on hand at the Northern Bowl in Glendale Heights, Illinois. $200,000 in prize money. The 10-pin.
All right, the reaction of Don Genalo. If you were watching his face when he released the ball, he knew that something that wasn't good was going to happen there, Jay. He knew that he got the ball a little wider than he wanted it. Came in behind the head pin, the solid 10. He needs to keep the ball more on line. He can't arc it. If he sends it out to the right, he'll leave the corner pin.
Don won in '86 in Milwaukee, defeating Mark Roth. Also in '86, which was his best year, and better than $93,000 in earnings. He finished 5th in the Greater Hartford Open in Connecticut. 4th at the Firestone Tournament of Champions. First title came in '83, the King Louis Open. And Genalo striking in the 4th. We'll be back with more action from the St. Louis area right now. This from your local station.
Hi, I'm Chris Evert. Now that I've retired from tennis, I can finally do all the things other normal happily married women do, like hosting Saturday Night Live with Eurythmics.
To compare the Ford Ranger XLT and the Chevy S10 for strength and durability, we're pushing them both off this 1,000-foot cliff. First, the Chevy. Of course, unlike the Chevy, the Ford Ranger has twin I-beam suspension and a 6-year, 60,000-mile warranty, so you already know it's tough. In fact, we probably don't even have to do this.
6-9 financing or $1,000 cash on Ranger during Truck Month at your Quality Plus Ford dealer.
What a mess.
Before you choose a body shop, ask a few questions. Do they have the know-how to make your car as safe as it was before? Will they fix your car only if it can be done right?
I'd say it's time for a new car.
Do they pay close attention to details? All the details. What about experience? Have they repaired over 5 million cars? If you don't know, you better get Mako.
The next time you're out shopping and you need a phone, just reach in the car and use your Pulphone car phone. It's always there when you need it. Expensive? Not at all. I got mine for no money down and only $19.95 a month. Hi, honey. I'm at the video store. How about I bring home Roger Rabbit?
Pulse One car phones, no money down and only $19.95 a month. Talk 100 minutes a month for only $10.95. Call 1-800-32-PULSE. That's 1-800-32-PULSE.
Diet, exercise, and the decade's sexiest man and woman, Monday on Evening Magazine.
As we come back, Don Genalo is open in the 5th frame. He left the 2-4-5 and couldn't pick up the spare. He is down 33 pins.
Here's a good look at it, Jay. This is what happened to Don Genalo in the 5th frame. As you mentioned, the 2-4-5. He chopped the 2 off the 5. Normally, he's one of the best spare shooters on the tour. It's just one of those things. Everybody misses one. We all have those days.
Coming back with a strike on 43, and he's now 9 out of 10 over there.
Here's why Don Genalo's ball is striking, Jay. It's going that end-over-end roll. And you see how straight down the lane that ball went? He didn't arc it out. When he arcs it out or gives it too much room, he leaves the 10-pin, or as you saw in the 5th frame, the 2-4-5, tough spare.
Palumb going for 5 in a row after striking in the 5th, and he has really got that look in his eye.
He is tough. This kid can ball. You know, you talk about skill and talent, experience. Here's a young man you mentioned came on the tour when he was 21 years old. A great athlete right out of high school almost. You know, when he's 21, he's only a couple of years out of high school, maybe 3. He was very successful as an amateur player, came on the tour, and made his mark right away. He doesn't wait for anybody. He's not afraid of anybody. He's going to be tough for a lot of years.
30 or a 43-pin lead for Palumbi. That was a little short. Got some good action, but leaves the 2.
He's happy with that, Jay. Only the 2-pin. He got the ball very wide of his target. Gave it too much room. And there is an out of bounds on these lanes. By that, I mean you get the ball outside the second arrow, whether you're left-handed or right-handed. It just picks up that oil that's out there. There's a buildup of oil out there. It'll pick that oil up and ski it all the way down the lane. I've seen players throw their strike ball and get 3 off the corner when they get between 3.
Palumbi looking very good in this second match, and we'll be back with more coverage of the Toyota Classic right after we take this timeout.
Suffering through a cold together can be the first true test of marriage. You took your cold medicine, and he took his.
Oh, here, keep the box.
You're not sneezing. How come you're not sneezing?
You make discoveries.
You're not coughing. How come?
And you see things you never saw before.
What have you got over there anyway?
NyQuil, the nighttime sniffling, sneezing, coughing, aching, stuffy head fever so you can rest medicine.
You'll never guess what we're baking for breakfast. It's made with whole oats, plus raisins, nuts, and spices. It's a cereal. New Oat Bake, a nutritious new oat cereal from Kellogg's. It's the only whole oat cereal that's baked. For a rich taste you won't find in any other oat cereal. New Kellogg's Oat Bake, the whole oat cereal with the crunchy baked taste.
I love what you do for me, Toyota.
When Toyota dominated the latest light-duty truck customer satisfaction ratings, some people weren't at all surprised. How does 4Runner rate in customer satisfaction?
Toyota's number 1.
Toyota vans?
Number 1.
Toyota Land Cruiser?
Number 1.
Toyota pickups?
Number 1.
Proving what we do for you, we do better than anyone else.
I love what you do for me, Toyota.
Birdie. There are 2 men, along with their partner Vern Santons, who has meant so much to bringing bowling back here, the PBA Tour. Of course, Hall of Famer Ray Blue, Tino DeFranco. Ray, the old Budweiser team here, we were with him on Thursday night up at the World Open dinner in Chicago. What a wonderful evening we had. And Don Genalo with a strike in the 7th.
Still anybody's game. Here's another shot. Look at that last strike by Don Genalo. The end-over-end roll, the good balance. We've talked about this. This is what makes him a great player, as opposed to Ron Palombi with a big turn, the big hook. Normally what happens, Jay, is the guy with the end-over-end roll is more accurate. He keeps the ball in play better. He makes his spares. The Palumbi-type player usually isn't as good a spare shooter, but he gets more strike power.
Still got it going good on 43. He is 11 or 10 out of 11 over there.
There's a good shot at it. You see the replay of the trip 4. That's something that won't happen to Ron Palombi, but it will happen for Don Genalo, the trip 4. If Ron Palombi trips the 4-pin, it's like pennies from heaven. It's a real gift. Genalo lives with that trip 4.
10-pin.
The players call that the weak
tightening
10.
Up a little bit.
Yeah.
Here's our prize money this week, a $27,000 first prize in this $150,000 Toyota Classic. Holbe has won $5,000, finishing 5th. Ball gets down there quickly.
He can get it there in a hurry. He's strong.
Bowled well last year on the fall tour. Had a 4th-place finish in the Memorial World Open up in Illinois, beating Mark Williams before losing to Marshall Holman.
Well, he'll get a little chance for revenge if he wins this match, Jay. Marshall Holman coming up.
Genalo down by 21.
Got to hurry? It does. He can make things happen with that bowling ball. He's an exciting player to watch. Don Genalo still very much in the match. Here's a replay of that last shot. Watch how wide he got this one out, and he almost got it to the out-of-bounds area. But that tremendous power, that lift he gets on the ball, brings it back solid in the pocket. Don Genalo still can bowl 247. Ron Palombi bowling at a 238 pace. Anybody's match. 9th frame.
Banged the 10, but it wouldn't go.
It wouldn't go. It actually slid off spot. This would normally carry on a wooden pin deck. On a phenolic pin deck, the pins tend to slide more. Watch that's the 4-pin going, the 6-pin, excuse me, going in the channel, comes back and taps the 10, but it doesn't go down. It just slides. What a time to have that happen, Jay. The 9th frame, if he strikes there, he's within 1 strike of catching up with Ron Palombi. Now he must strike out in the 10th and hope that Ron Palombi makes a disastrous mistake, some kind of an open. That's the only chance Don Genalo has now. He must get all 3 strikes and hope Palombi opens.
He will finish on lane 43, where he's had so much success.
Even more so why that strike in the 9th is so important. He would have had 4 in a row and a chance to finish on his best lane. Still in there. Possible 226 for Don Genalo. Ron Palombi going at a 238 pace.
That is 11 of 12 over on 43. Doing exactly what you predicted he would do, and he has done so many times. Toughen it up at the end.
He is tough in the 10th. 9th and 10th is where he's at his best. Great shot. As you mentioned, this is what, 12 out of 13 on that lane now?
That's right.
Look at the look on his face, the determination. That strike puts Ron Palombi in that position I mentioned where he must fill the 10th frame, some kind of a spare. That's the one to not carry if you're not going to carry one, Jay. The one that counts the least, the last ball.
225 for Genalo. Now, Palombi needs 9 pins to win.
In 2 balls. 9 in 2 balls. The 8-10. Again, that's the pin decks here, the phenolic pin decks. You don't know what's going to happen when the ball enters the pin deck area. It can slide, it can cut through. A lot of things happen. If he'd have left the 8-10, we'd have had a whole exciting game. Would have had to get one of them to win the match.
Ron Palombi is our winner. And and he had a very anxious moment there. This was a very good match.
It was a good match. The scores are going up. We felt we'd have good scores here today, Jay. The synthetic surfaces can have a lot of times some very, very high scores. And we could, with the players coming up, still see some big games. That was an experimental shot. He just wanted to see what the ball would react like if he moved out a little bit.
235 for Palumbi, 225 for Genalo, and Palumbi will be going up against Marshall Holman in match 3. We'll have that when we come back to Tropicana in St. Louis.
Over 500,000 times tonight, we'll be delivering in 30 minutes or less. Sometimes we even arrive a little early. So tonight, call us, because nobody delivers better than Domino's Pizza. Call Domino's Pizza right now and get 2 hot pizzas for 1 hot price. Nobody delivers better, so call now.
Hi, Buccaneers! Want to get hold of some gold? Then play the 100 grand gold bar giveaway!
You could win a bundle of gold. Just mail in the entry blank you'll find at participating stores that sell that-size bundle packs of Zest, Coast, and Safeguard.
Oh, look for this 100 grand gold bar giveaway display and start your treasure hunt for a $2,000 bundle of gold. But hurry, before this golden opportunity slips away!
Thank you. And so, Mayor, these swiftly flowing currents create energy, which in turn creates power, which in turn brings electric light to every house in the valley.
That's very impressive, Calvin. Thank you, sir. But the contract calls for bringing Bud Lights to the valley.
No wonder we're over budget.
For clean, fresh taste, one light outshines them all.
Which in turn keeps the Bud Light cold.
Because everything else is just a light.
The bomb. Razzle dazzle. The Browns battle the Seahawks. Sunday.
NBC Sports keeps you on top of the scene all week long. Dial 1-900-226-8000 for NBC Scores Plus. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Scores Plus. Scores plus a whole lot more.
We're back in St. Louis. It's been 3 long years since the PBA scheduled a tournament here in the hotbed of bowling. And what really is important about St. Louis in bowlers' minds is it's the home of the National Bowling Hall of Fame. And with me today is the legendary Hall of Famer, the great Dick Weber. Dick, tell us a little bit about the Hall of Fame.
Well, first of all, Earl, it's great to be with you. But the whole Hall of Fame is just great to walk through. You start up the 10-pin alley where they started with a wooden plank and pins. Then they graduated to the pin boys where they set them on the old spikes. How television started the Professional Bowlers Association tour. Then into the Emporium where they have the great, where you broke your first $1 million. You were the first player to break $1 million. The great Don Carter and so on. You can go to Star Talk and ask the bowlers a question about what they should do about their bowling or how they looked in those days. Also, you can go downstairs and bowl a game on the automatic scores and the automatic lanes that they have there. Or else go to the 1920s and bowl on the lanes of duck pins, candle pins, and things of that nature. There's many, many attractions there to see, and it's a beautiful place to go.
Well, that's great. I think Dick bowled on those first lanes back in But if you're in the St. Louis area, even if you're not, schedule a trip, take a vacation, and see the National Bowling Hall of Fame. You'll enjoy it.
In the Toyota Classic, the winner was Ron Palombi Jr., and he moves on now as he defeated Genalo 235 to 225, and it'll be Palumbi against Marshall Holman here in the 3rd match. Palumbi to start things off.
Well, now we go power against power. Two of the best releases in the game. A young, strong Ron Palombi, a very experienced, talented Marshall Holman.
10-pin wouldn't go. He's very frustrated about it. He lost to Marshall Holman and finished 5th in the AZ Delco Classic earlier this year with Palumbi. As we mentioned, he's had an opportunity for a little revenge here. Holman has got him a couple of times through the years. The Medford Meteor. Holman the Bowman at age 35, after a slump, has come back hot this fall.
And there it is. Jay, something Marshall Holman very, very seldom ever looks at, an 8-10. Pocket split. Marshall felt he rolled the ball well. The ball just didn't grip the lane when it went in the pin deck area.
Heartbreaking loss 2 weeks ago today to Joe Berardi up in Rochester. 1 pin. So Holman is open to start things off and down 11 pins. We've talked about his problems on television, and I guess he doesn't enjoy having us talk about it any more than we enjoy talking about it, but he has been snake bit. There's a little cloud that seems to follow him when the TV lights turned on.
There is, and some of it's been his own doing, some of it's been his attitude, some of it's just been plain bad breaks. Marshall is one of the greatest players we've ever had on the PBA Tour, but things just don't seem to go his way on television. All right, 2 good shots. For Marshall, you can see his reaction. It's like...
it's all right.
No, it's not. That's not it, Jay. It's like, sure, that's what's supposed to happen. I never get a break. See, that's the attitude that Marshall has to eliminate, get it out of his mind, that defeatist attitude, if he's ever going to be a winner on national television.
Television record of 57-79. Coming up next from the beautiful island of Maui, the Isuzu Kapalua International. Final round coverage of the Isuzu from Kapalua. Robert Wren, the leader, after 3 rounds of play. Ben Scully and all the gang out there. We'll bring you that coverage later, except out on the West Coast. 3 PBA titles for this young Pennsylvanian. It was high, and he's left the 310.
He's starting to make a few adjustments here. In the 10th frame of his last match, he tried an experimental shot on his last ball just to see what kind of a ball reaction he'd get. Now, after waiting through this period of time, waiting for the next match to start, he tried that shot again. It didn't work. He's going to have to start lining up. The oil is moving on the lanes. The players have to make adjustments to compensate for it.
Well, Palumbi is open in this 2nd frame. Holman was open in the 1st, and Holman is up by 2. Palumbi high game of 280, as we mentioned. On the TV pair, he was 255. Ron won in Rochester last year on the fall tour.
Now watch this replay, Jay. Ron Palombi, he's deeper into the lane now than he was before in his first match. He's trying to get the ball down the lane with more ball speed, and it's a little behind the head pin. You see the solid 10.
Palumbi down by 2 as Holman gets ready to go. 5th championship round appearance of the year. 2nd in a row, of course, as we mentioned 2 weeks ago in Rochester. There you see what he did against Palumbi.
That'll work.
And there's the reaction of Marshall Holman. Here's the form of one of the greatest players in the world. Watch this. The shoulders stay level. The good release, the balance, everything. The shoulders over the knee where they belong. Now watch the reaction. Oh, well, what do you know? I got a break.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah. How about that? The reason a player will blow in the thumb hole like that, Jay, is to get a little moisture in there so the ball doesn't fall off his thumb too quickly.
A double now for Holman, and he's up 12. We'll be back with more coverage of the $150,000 Toyota Classic. We're in Richmond Heights, Missouri. Hope you're enjoying the action.
It's 32 degrees. It's getting late. And Jan Trumpeter is learning all about her antifreeze.
Closed.
The hard way.
Why is this happening to me?
Don't push your luck. Guarantee it with Advanced Formula Prestone.
When Toyota dominated the latest light-duty truck customer satisfaction ratings, some people weren't at all surprised. How does 4Runner rate in customer satisfaction?
Toyota's number one.
Toyota vans?
Number one.
Toyota Land Cruiser?
Number one.
Toyota pickups?
Number one.
Proving what we do for you, we do better than anyone else.
I love what you do for me, Toyota.
Now, at a pro shop near you, Brunswick is delivering a 100% urethane monster. We're delivering the power of a Rhino. The hardest charging ball in America. In 5 distinct formulations, Brunswick's Rhino reigns.
Janitor to the pro shop, please.
A great Thanksgiving tradition. The Skins game returns to NBC, where one putt could be worth $450,000. Whoa! Jack Nicklaus, Curtis Strange, Ray Floyd, and Lee Trevino play the Skins game. Thanksgiving weekend on NBC.
Next Saturday, we'll be up in Glendale Heights, Illinois, Earl. Of course, a little different format for the Brunswick Memorial World Open. We'll be on the air at 3 Eastern Time. Holman couldn't get it there after striking in the 3rd, 4th, and 5th. He leaves the 2-4-5-8.
Marshall was real happy when he released the ball. He thought he made a good shot, Jay. As you see the bucket, as you mentioned, Marshall, when he releases the ball, expects the ball to hook. If it doesn't hook, he's at a total loss. Now you can see on the look on his face there, it's like, I don't understand that. That should have hooked. Tough spare. Great break for Marshall Holman here. Watch the 2-pin go to the wall, come off, and just the tip of it, the neck of it, trip out the 8-pin. What a break.
And
Marshall thought he had missed the spare.
Marshall. Yes.
Well, there's one good one for Marshall. Let's see if they even out.
Palumb on lane 44, and that won't go, the 10. In the 4th, while we were away, Palumb got a strike on a late 7-pin. And then he had a lot of action on a late kick for a strike in the 5th. Palumb and Holman going at it here. The winner, Charlie Tapp, waiting in the wings, qualified first this week. The lead is 9 for Holman.
now we're getting down to the foundation frames. This is where the players like to set up for the 10th frame. They want to get some strikes in the 7th, 8th, 9th, so that those 2 strikes they hope to get in the 10th can put the match away. Ron Palombi, 7th frame.
That man who won his first title in '84 at Tucson, he leaves a 4.67.
This is again, he's moving around a little bit. Remember how well he was playing the first match when he bowled Don Genalo. Now he's trying to make adjustments, and as that oil moves, it just gets tougher and tougher. The players have to make the move with the oil.
The lead for Holman is 23 over Ron Palombi. We'll be back with more coverage of the Toyota Classic right after these messages.
Shine a light on you, shine a light on me. Keep your light shining for everyone to see.
Every day, more and more people are getting together over an ice-cold Bud Light.
Well, you can taste it, you can feel it, you know you got it right. 'Cause everything else is just a lie. Just keep your Bud Light shining. Just a light. Light shine on. I love what you do for me, Toyota.
When you've got your Power Stroke going, nothing's gonna beat you. Introducing Power Stick Antiperspirant. 24-hour protection in just one wide stroke. New Power Stick from Fabergé.
When you've got diarrhea, you can take this. And when you're in real trouble, now you can choose maximum strength Pepto-Bismol.
The bomb. Razzle dazzle.
That cat's gonna throw. He's got a man open, Langhorne. How do you do? Oh, my.
The Browns battle the Seahawks. Sunday.
Marshall Holman set for the 7th frame.
This is where Marshall Holman can start showing what he's really made of, Jay. Remember the good break he got on the spare when he picked up the dinner bucket on lane 43. Then Ron Palombi came back with a big split on lane 43. Marshall has an opportunity to really come out and put this match away with strikes. He came back and got the strike in the 7th. This is what Marshall does normally in match play, but he hasn't been able to do on television for some reason.
Marshall Holman with 21 PBA titles. There's that record in championship play, 57 and 79. Strikes now in the 7th and 8th give him a 33-pin lead.
He's just too good a player to have that kind of a television record. It's got to change. It's going to turn around for Marshall. Players do go in streaks. Mark Roth, myself, players that have been on television a lot tend to not have a lot of wins, Jay, because when you're bowling on television, you're bowling against guys that are bowling good or they wouldn't be there. So it's tough to beat these guys. Ron Palombi is not out of this match yet. 8th frame.
And he hangs tough. His goal is to pass the $100,000 mark in one season, and he could do that with a victory here today.
More room, more speed. The 4.67 last time on this lane, Jay. This time he comes back with the bucket, 2.458. Now, Ron Palombi knew he needed to strike in the 9th frame. Very obvious. We all knew that. Ron Palombi tried to force the ball into the pocket, and it slid by the head pin. A little too much ball speed there.
had 2 splits in this match, and now another problem for him. Marshall is very much in the driver's seat now.
Well, he's going to get a chance. He bowled in the championship match last week, Jay. Lost by 1 pin to Joe Berardi in that big 10th frame finish by Joe. Needed 2 strikes and 8 to win. That's exactly what he got. Let's see if Marshall can do a little better this week.
He looks back up here at you. It's all over. Holman is going to get a chance to go for the top prize against Tapp.
Watch the ball. Watch the pin action here. That hard-hitting roll of Marshall Holman's. It's the head pin to come off the wall, take out the 5-7, and Marshall knows it's over, and you can see the reaction. Right now, he's doing what the other players have done at this point. He's trying to line up now, make sure he's got the line he wants to use.
Scrambled him very well. Holman winning this 3rd match. Palumb will take down $8,000 for 3rd place.
They had a little problem with the pin falling out of one of the pin setters in the back. It's laying in the channel on lane 43. And PBA rules are such that you cannot bowl with the pin laying in the channel. If the pin's in play, you can't bowl. So Marshall's waiting for that to be cleared.
That's 5 in a row to finish it off. Palumb leading a 2-7 in his 10th frame as Marshall has 1 final ball to throw here.
A lot of times a player, after coming off a win, like as Ron had in the game previous to this, the 235 score, good score, he was really in tune with the lanes. Then they started changing, and he didn't make the adjustment. Marshall comes on cold. He's ready to go.
Holman wins it with a score of 245. He'll meet Charlie Tapp. It's coming up in a moment.
He stalked the night on a murderous rampage until 2 detectives brought him down. Learn their true story. Manhunt: The Search for the Night Stalker, Sunday.
It took 2,000 years, but a revolutionary discovery is changing the way men think about coloring their gray hair. It's called Just for Men, from the leader in men's hair coloring. Simply apply Just for Men, and in 5 minutes, shampoo out. Your gray is blended away, leaving your natural-looking color. 5 minutes. Here, look at me. Just for Men leaves your hair looking healthy and fuller, and it won't fade or wash out. Just for Men, in the men's hair care section.
If you're considering a Ford, think about this. J.D. Power & Associates reports Buick is the most trouble-free American car, not Ford. Buick Century sales have risen 15%, while Ford Taurus sales have dropped 7%. And now Century costs less than a comparable Taurus. So if you're considering a Ford, it's time to reconsider.
Diet, exercise, and the decade's sexiest man and woman, Monday on Evening Magazine.
Here are the top 24 finishers in this Toyota Classic.
You know, there's a Parker Bond the 4th now.
That's right. Mark Baker was throwing that strong ball here this week. Mark there picked up $1,800. Dale Eagle, the veteran.
Back-to-back finals for Dale.
That's great. Petey Weber. Some great action here. He had a 300 game.
He beat his father this week in match play, but Dick finished ahead of him.
Isn't that terrific? A Hall of Famer. Norm Duke getting the 12th spot. David Ozio, the Texan, picked up $3,000. Tom Kreitz bowling very well these days. And D'Andremont just missed getting to television. He was only 9 pins away. We'll be back. The uninterrupted championship match in just a moment.
These are oats. Something you've been hearing quite a lot about lately. But while some cereals turn oats into processed oat flour, oat bake from Kellogg's uses only whole oats. Then we simply bake them with nuts, raisins, and spices for the first cereal that combines the goodness of whole oats with the goodness of baked taste. New Kellogg's Oat Bake, the whole oat cereal with the crunchy baked taste.
Hey, what's with the 2 bottles? You gonna wash your hair twice? Oh, funny. It's shampoo and conditioner. Maybe you've heard of them. I use them, but I get them both in 1 bottle with Per Plus. Great. But I got a used dandruff shampoo. Me too. And now there's a new Per Plus for dandruff. Let me see that. Dandruff shampoo plus conditioner in 1. Hey, my hair's clean, easy to manage, no flakes. Beautiful. So let's go.
New dandruff control Per Plus. Great hair, no flakes, no fuss.
Over 500,000 times tonight, we'll be delivering in 30 minutes or less. Sometimes we even arrive a little early. So tonight, call us, because nobody delivers better than Domino's Pizza.
Call Domino's Pizza right now and get 2 hot pizzas for 1 hot price. Nobody delivers better, so call now.
Birdie.
John Archibald, a great friend, distinguished writer with the St. Louis Post-Dispatch. Wonderful fellow. He's going to be retiring next year. He's in the Hall of Fame. This crowd ready for the championship match of this $150,000 Toyota Classic. The Tropicana Lanes. The St. Louis area, Marshall Holman with the victory over Palumb, ready to begin against Charlie Tapp. And Marshall starts it off in fine fashion.
Okay, here we have another contrast in styles. Marshall Holman, the big, powerful, hooking type ball. Palumb was that way. Charlie Tapp is kind of between Don Genalo, the very straight roll, and the hooking type player. He's what they call a tweener. We've got the crankers, the twisters, the straight shooters, and the tweeners. Here's a tweener.
Good going for Charlie. High game of 289 this week. 17th career championship round appearance, and a TV pair average here of 253. Quite a story here. Tapp lost his 39-year-old brother, Henry, in '87. Within a 2-month period, lost his financial sponsor on tour, and his marriage went down the drain. And he's made a tremendous comeback.
He has. I saw Charlie about a year and a half ago, and he looked very ill at that point. He's come back, put on a weight, and he's bowling extremely well. Charlie will normally carry that type of hit, the 4-pin. And you watch the ball kind of cut through a little bit when it hit the head pin. It didn't deflect as you would like to have it. Charlie, being a tweener, has that forward roll, but he can still get the ball to hook back because he gives it a real hard lift, a heavy lift with his fingers. Rotates the wrist a little bit.
Tapp hoping to win his 3rd PBA title. And for Holman, it would be 22. Coming up next, except on the West Coast, the final round of the Zuzu Kapalua International from the beautiful island of Maui. Seven-pin.
Something always seems to happen. Now, it's really hard. It'd be very difficult for anyone to roll the ball better than Marshall did on that particular shot. The ball actually hit too hard. And that's when you leave that solid 7. Here's a look. Now watch the ball as it hits the head pin. It just does not deflect. It cuts straight. Watch the ball roll almost all over to the 8-pin. And that's why you jam the pin into the kickback to the sideboard. It doesn't carry the 7.
He has had a tough time in the championship rounds. Record of his we talked about earlier, but you know, Earl, we should mention this is his 100th championship round appearance, so he's had an opportunity to lose a lot more matches too.
Yes, that's the fact. That's the thing, as we mentioned earlier. You know, you get a Mark Roth who's been on 120, 130 times on national television. He's going to lose a lot of matches. It just happens. Unfortunately for Marshall, his record is, I think you said 57, now 58 and 79 or something like that.
Came up a little short with that one and leaves the 2-4-5.
He left this spare with the 8-pin in his match against Ron Palombi previously, and he chopped the spare. Here's a look at it. The ball just doesn't quite get back to the head pin. That oil on the outside of the lane, if he gets the ball too far to the right, it won't make the turn back. Now remember, he took the 2 off the 5, leaving the 5-pin the last time he shot this. He'll line up on the left side of the lane and try to throw the ball hard and straight.
Got it done. He's down by 3 pins.
Sure have a great crowd here, huh, Jay?
Oh, this is a wonderful bowling community. It's my hometown, of course. I guess I'm a little prejudiced, but this is a town that loves bowling.
It does. Yeah, St. Louis is a great town.
Tapp is engaged to Ladies Pro Bowler Tour member Marlis Bohr. So he's putting his life back together again. Yes. Lots of action.
Watch the head pin, go to the wall, come back across, kick out the 4 into the 5, and take out the 7. That's great pin. That's a good heavy rolling ball when that happens. You don't get that kind of action unless the ball is rolling and gripping the lane surface.
In the early going, it is Tapp up by 3. You mentioned his gaining some weight back. At one point, Earl, he was very sick. He was down to 152 pounds.
When you consider, what is Charlie, 6'4", something like that, 6'5"? Right. It's not much weight on a man at 6'5".
And he strikes. He is at 6'4" and 180 pounds now. 38 years old.
Still looks very slender, doesn't he? He's in good shape. Well, Marshall's going to have to get it going soon because he doesn't want Charlie Tapp to get out in front. Charlie is a great front runner. You let him get ahead, you'll never see him again.
The 10-pin for Holman, who won his last title in February of '88 in Venice, Florida. He's won both the U.S. Open, 81 and 85, and the Firestone Tournament of Champions. He won that in 76 and 86. He won them both twice. Eligible now for the Hall of Fame, and he's a sure thing.
No question about it.
Marshall's down 14 as we are through 4 frames. This championship match with the winner getting $27,000. Holman asking for a re-rack here in the 5th. That is his 2nd of the match. Holman down, as I said, by 14. Those of you who may not be aware of it, I try to remind you, 3 re-racks allowed in a match.
Well, they changed that rule, Jay. It's down to 2, so Marshall used all his re-racks for the match.
That rule change just coming this year?
Just recently, yes, in the last year or so.
So Holman then has had his 2.
Remember the solid 70 left on lane 44. Now watch this ball. It does cut through again. Watch the 8-pin. Nothing touches it. The ball is just cutting through so hard on the back. It's not deflecting. You have to have the ball deflect to strike. A little bit of a deflection will strike more than a ball that doesn't deflect at all. You can see Marshall, the look on his face, it's like, well, here we go again. Doesn't anything ever go my way? And unfortunately for him, he has had some bad breaks. He's only bowled 5 frames. He's thrown 4 extremely good shots. He's left the solid 7-pin. He's left the 10. He's left the solid 8. Charlie Tapp on a double.
10 pin for Charlie. Tapp from Kalamazoo, Michigan. Holman out of Medford, Oregon.
Charlie's done a little radio work up in his home area. He used to be involved with kind of a talk radio show when he was living in the Minneapolis-St. Paul area. Pretty talented. He's very funny.
Yeah, he's got quite a sense of humor. He really does, and he likes big-time wrestling too.
Well, you have to have a sense of humor, I guess.
Yeah, if you're going to like that. Charlie had never met his financial backer prior to winning the Greater Hartford Open. He'd only talked to him on the phone, the fellow that helped him get back financially and get going again.
Charlie made a statement, something like his sponsor hoped he made a television show so he could see what he looked like.
Them all down there.
Charlie will carry that hit more often than he won't, that's for sure. And whenever the ball's rolling hard, you hit light in the pin area. Now watch this. It's a replay of that last shot. The ball would just get enough of the head pin to send it to the side, over the wall. Watch it hit the kickback, coming back across, and take out the 4 and the 7 and the 8.
A 10 pin for Holman in the 6th. 21 career PBA titles. Just missed 2 weeks ago.
3 times that many, Jay.
Yeah.
Just things haven't gone Marshall's way sometimes. Sometimes the other players bowled great. Sometimes Marshall's given them away. But when he gets it going, what a great strike ball he's got. And he's an excellent spare shooter. Very seldom we've seen Marshall miss a spare.
He's had 5 balls in the pocket, but only 1 strike for Holman to this point. The lead is 15 for Charlie Tapp.
And we're getting back there where I mentioned before, the crunch frames. 7th through the 10th are the frames where you want to really start setting up that foundation, the 7th, 8th, 9th. This is where the good match play bowlers start stringing strikes.
The 10 this time. All right. He choreographs everything out there, doesn't he?
He does. You'll never ever be at a loss for a reaction from Marshall Holman. Here's a replay of that shot. Now watch. You see the 6 pin go to the corner, just barely get out of the channel and tip out the 10. A lot of times this week that pin has stood up. It just nudged over as it did for Don Genalo earlier. This time Marshall gets the tap and it carries. Funny we should say Tapp with Charlie Tapp on approach. On a strike.
The lead is 25.
Watch the head pin go. This Charlie feels very fortunate here. He didn't show any reaction himself, but watch the head pin comes back across, kicks out the 5. The ball just deflected. It didn't have any drive. Didn't carry the 5. No drive, no 5. Jay, that's the statement the bowlers make, but he got the good pin action off the wall.
Tapp with 4 strikes, Holman with 2. With 5 strikes, I should say, Tapp. And make it 6.
And I know what's going through Marshall's mind right now. I know Marshall for a long time. He's a good friend. He's thinking, everything's falling down for Charlie. Why can't I carry those? Here's another look at that shot. Now watch how hard the ball hits. This is a complete opposite reaction of what he left the solid 5. This time the head pin goes up in the air and comes down on top of the 7 to kick it out.
Holman with a strike. Back in top form now on the fall tour, but he had a terrible time on the winter tour. Only earned about $17,000, which is way below what he normally does.
You get a look at his career earnings, $1.4 million, and this year only $58,000. Marshall will finish strong this year. As I mentioned, this is crunch time. This is when the good match play bowlers start stringing strikes. 7th, 8th, 9th, set up the 10th frame. They both are on a double. Charlie's on 3 in a row, Marshall on 2. 9th frame. That's disaster. You see Marshall waving goodbye. It's not over yet, though. He did wave goodbye, but it's not over yet, Jay.
Last year was the 8th time that Marshall broke the $100,000 barrier and the 6th in a row. He is down 37 pins. He is deep in the well right now.
He is, but the match isn't over.
No.
It's still possibilities, and Charlie knows that. He's not going to get careless.
Pin.
That was a good aggressive shot. As I mentioned, Charlie's not going to get careless. He's going to keep the ball in play. He's a very accurate player. He's going to hit the pocket. He got an easy spare out of that shot, and that's all he really wants. If he can go spare 9th, spare 10th, he's a winner. Almost. Wow. That'll get your heart pounding a little bit if you're Charlie Tapp, I'll tell you that. I bet you Marshall's was pumping a little bit, too, watching that ball, hoping it would slide off. You know, you don't want to wish somebody bad luck.
No, it almost got to the channel, though.
This is competition for a lot of money. Difference between 1st and 2nd of $13,000.
Tapp needs 8 pins to shut Marshall Holman out. And Charlie Tapp is a very happy man. He's not a very emotional fellow, as I mentioned, but look at him. Oh, happiness.
That's about as much as you'll see right there,
yes,
Jay.
Yes, sir.
But inside, Charlie is just, right now, there's a lot of things going on, and not only in his mind, but in his heart. He's made it all the way back, and he knows it.
That's a wonderful story. And for Holman, he comes up a cropper again.
Another 2nd for Marshall Holman. And Marshall didn't bowl badly, Jay. He bowled well. He couldn't carry early in the match the first 6 frames. He hit the pocket 5 out of the 6 balls. Only got 1 strike. So things just didn't go his way again, unfortunately for Marshall, but he'll be back. He'll be a winner again. You can count on that. Both players just finishing out the match.
And the final score, 228 for Charlie Tapp and 190 for Marshall Holman. And the big crowd here, a very knowledgeable crowd, is happy for the man from Kalamazoo, Charlie Tapp, who has won this $150,000 Toyota Classic. We'll be back to meet the champion and pass out the goodies right after we take time out for this message.
Toyota's 1990 4x4. Don't leave the road without it.
I say, put on some steaks and get the Queen a Bud Light.
For clean, fresh taste, one light outshines them all. Bud Light.
Henry, they're Pop-Tarts.
Because everything else, is just a light.
You won't believe the shop vac. It comes with a surprise.
So where's the surprise?
In a minute. First, this baby picks up stuff like nails and glass, and like a regular shop vac, it also picks up water.
So where's the surprise?
Just watch. You twist the top, lift it off, and you've got a surprisingly powerful blower.
And now Shop Vac puts its power to work cleaning carpet stains with Spot Check. It turns any Shop Vac into a powerful carpet cleaner. Shop Vac. If it doesn't say Shop Vac, keep shopping.
A great Thanksgiving tradition. The Skins Game returns to NBC, where one putt could be worth $450,000. Jack Nicklaus, Curtis Strange, Ray Floyd, and Lee Trevino play the Skins Game. Thanksgiving weekend on NBC. This is the PBA Fall Tour, and today it's been brought to you by your Toyota dealers and their quality line of cars and trucks. Toyota, I love what you do for me. By Bud Light, everything else is just a light. By new Dandruff Control Pert Plus, Dandruff Shampoo plus Complete Conditioner in one. And by Brunswick, proud sponsor of Team USA.
There's the final score as Charlie Tapp is up on top, and congratulations, Charlie. You've come back from some tough times, and I know this has really been a meaningful day for you.
Well, this whole year has been unbelievable. Victory in Hartford, and now this. I mean, Hartford. I got a little bit lucky to win that. That's an understatement. And this tournament here was probably the best I've bowled maybe in 4 or 5 years, from game one all the way to the end. And I beat the leading money winner of all time, and I just couldn't be happier. This is terrific.
Well, I know everybody here joins in wishing you well, and Bob Ehrman of Toyota is right here to present you with a very beautiful trophy.
Hello, Charlie. Congratulations on your second victory of 1989 here at the Toyota Classic in St. Louis. I'd like to present you with this trophy for your first place finish. And hopefully today you can sing the praises of Toyota. I love what you do for me.
All right. Tino DeFranco, one of the co-proprietors, has the check.
Right. Charlie, on behalf of everyone here at Tropicana, I think your comeback sort of ties in with the comeback of bowling here to St. Louis. Nice segue. And anyhow, I'd like to be able to reach up and hand you this check. And congratulations for winning with this great field we have.
$27,000. There he is, the final 228 to 190. And we want to remind you the Brunswick Memorial World Open will come your way next Saturday afternoon at 3 Eastern Time. And coming up next, except on the West Coast, the Isuzu Kapalua International Golf Championship. And this has been a presentation of Bud Sports and the PBA Incorporated.